just as I come through the gate and pull up, here's my first casualty. I've broken a bracket on my awning. Whoa! That means got no awning because the bracket is stuffed completely. Alright, repair kit out. Okay, well, this is the trek up to the rim of the crater. And we're finally here with a broken awning, which I've now repaired. Well, I haven't repaired it, I've actually attached it to the side of the car. The repair is not feasible right now because it's broken the weld. And there's car park over there. And all you can say is, wow, look at that. Meteorite crater. Perfect. Like a stone in a puddle. Boom. And I'll also take it in 4K resolution. I hope we're actually getting this. I noticed that this particular Hero 7 Silver puts a bit of a curve on everything. Anyway, we'll see it in all its splendid glory, this crater. And yes, I am here after all this time. We made it! Thank goodness! I notice I'm running out of battery on this particular GoPro 2, the Hero Silver. You can't take batteries out and put spare ones in, it's just the one battery, which is a bit of a pain. But anyway, and we'll do another little pan around just to make sure we get this crater from the correct angle. Funny how there's that big ring, that might flood in the rains down there where all those trees are. Funny, isn't it? Huh. And here we go. Yes, I'm going to be in it too. Crikey. Why not? Here I am, Wolfe Creek Crater, August whatever, 2021. And before the battery runs out, we'll shut it down. Now I'll probably go over the score by taking lots of video, but I've got to make sure I capture this because it's taken me so many efforts to get up here. Some people may say you're stupid, and I am, but I'll tell you what, when you get to see these things in the flesh, they are every bit as worthwhile, and the effort that you make to get up to them makes it all worthwhile just to be able to see it. The little bird hasn't come back for her egg yet, so I don't know if that's turning out. I'm standing in the shadow, or rather the shadow, my shadow is there. Hope you can make that out. I can't see through these screens, they're too dark in the light. Anyway, we'll do a little pan around here. I can see over there in the distance, don't know if you can make it out, straight there, centre of screen, is the campground, and I'm going to stay there tonight and come back up here in the morning when the sun rises. Of course, with much danger to life and limb, I'm scrambling over these rocks to get a little different perspective of the crater from another angle. So if I fall over and twist an ankle or break one, send the search parties out, because I only have about 300 ml of water left. This guy up here is flying a drone. I wonder what the noise was. Sounded like a swarm of bees. I have a drone, but I don't bring it. Mainly because I don't know really how to get the best out of it with the cheap camera that's on it. There somewhere is a drone. Be a great way to take pictures of this crater. Okay, and I was having a chat to the drone man, and I might have a look at one of those. But it's just another thing to bring, isn't it? And have charged up and to go wrong and to give you more grief. Maybe not. Anyway, I'm going to go and find the camp spot. He said he stayed here overnight. He said there's a nice little spot round there. He lit the fire up and we'll go and have a look. I've said this before, and I don't know if they know, but caravans always seem to pull up outside the frickin' public toilets. Behind that the middle caravan there is the long drop dunny. And I don't know whether they do that by design or whether it's just an instinctive thing with people who tow caravans. Got to be near the dunny. Strange people. Yes, I mean you guys that tow them. As you can see, I tied it up with a grunt strap, which is fine for that purposes. It actually did some damage to my bodywork. Couple of decent scratches, and I didn't even know the thing. I don't know when it came off, but it shows you the measure of those bumpy roads that we just came over. I'll have to take the whole thing off, I think, and strap it to the roof after. Well, we've had a bit of a disaster because the front stays on this tent have actually broken away from the frame. The back ones are okay, but there's the bracket, which I have taken. There's two brackets and there are two telescopic limbs on each side, and somehow or other I now have to get in. Oh, I've been inside the tent, but I have to find some way of holding it up while I reattach it. I'll have to drill out that little bracket that I just showed you on the concrete bench. I still have a couple of bolts and things that I can actually use because they're only riveted in. And it must have been, when I pulled it down this morning, it was a little bit tight, and I did give it a bit of a tug, and I think I've detached both of the telescopic arms from the actual stay inside. They're as cheap as chips, I must admit. But anyway, we'll carry on and see what sort of a repair we can do. What we're attempting to do here is we have to drill these two rivets out. I have some bolts which I can replace, and I've already done one, and the bolts re-drilled that out and fitted. Then I've got to lift the whole lid up and support it while I try and bolt it back into position. So I shall just get my gloves wherever I left them, and I will drill that hole out. Of course, I meant the rivet that I'm going to drill out. Now, we have to hold this tricky operation because I'm drilling it from the underside. These rivets, the metal part of the rivet, apart from the aluminium, is really, really hard. So we'll have a go. I already broke one drill, I better do this one first. Of course that thing is turning, so what we have to do is lock it. so it won't turn. It won't do anything then. Oh, it's tough. Tough, tough, tough. That's got the top part off that rivet. Ooh, jeez, they're tight. Yeah. No sense in boring you with all this. Well, after a 3-hour struggle, I've managed to fix the bloody thing. First of all, I had to prop it up with that table because it kept falling down. It was very, very floppy. Then, as you've already seen, I had to drill out the brackets, and that was the easy part. Just to explain, these tents are held up by these telescopic arm things, okay? And they're as cheap as shit. They're as cheap as you could make them. Little telescopic arms on a tiny little piece of aluminium or steel tubing, fixed up there in the corner to a metal bracket that you saw me drill out. The big problem with these things is that bracket going across there, to which the metal bracket is attached, is only small gauge aluminium. Rivet these things on, expecting them to last the distance, and that's ridiculous, because had they used a little bit of foresight, 2 or 3 bolts through that U bracket would have held the thing in place. But see, people try to make things as cheaply and shitty as possible, and then you end up with this sort of problem. So I'll take this thing home and I'll dismantle the whole lot and I'll rebuild it, and I'll rebuild it better than ever. But if you ask me to recommend a quickie tent, as they're built like this, I'd say no, but the concept is brilliant. It's just like everything else in this frickin' world, they decide to try and cheapen it up to get the maximum profit. And 3 hours later, I've probably made it better than it was. And now I can pack up all my tools and sit down and have a cold drink of non-alcoholic beer, because I've just finished off a 600ml one of water. Right, well, after my 3-hour struggle, I am now going to transfer the fuel that's in at least 2 of these tanks into this fuel filler using a siphon pump, because that was why I put them in there. And I've had this nice icy cold beer. Let's see if this siphon works. I put a piece of wire on it to keep it stiff going down into the fuel, so as we get to the very bottom of the tank. Now it is there now. We shall open up the cap, the fuel cap, and the theory is we just squeeze this a few times and the fuel is supposed to flow. Well, I saw it coming up, and there you go, look at that. And I do have a slight leak, but hey, that's not much to worry about. Can you see that happening? Move over here a little bit. It is flowing, I can see bubbles. So each of these jerry cans is 20 litres, and if I put 40 in it, that is more than enough to get me back to. In fact, I probably have enough in the tank to actually get back, but I'm thinking, well, take a bit of weight out of the back of the old beast. So there we go, that's it. I'll get back to you when we've done that. Well, that took about 10 minutes for 20 litres. So there's about 2 litres per minute, I guess. I'm going to do the next one, that'll put 40 in, and that'll be plenty. I'll keep 20 in reserve. Well, I put 40 litres in, and there's 3/4 of a tank, so that's more than enough to get actually to Turkey Creek. So I'm now going to go and have a rest, because I've had quite a stressful afternoon. Oh, I actually took that water container, had to loosen that up, so I better tighten it back down because the top came off it too. That's another little job, and then I'm going to have a lie down. Well, I don't mind telling you, I'm absolutely exhausted after that episode with those 2 telescopic arms. That was so hot and draining to try and put screws into that thing, and I've sort of had a lie down, but the sun is still out and it's incredibly hot here, probably 30, I'd say, at least 30, and I'm having my lemon cordial and soda water, which that is really ice cold, which is good. I'm absolutely bucketed. I can't be bothered even thinking about cooking something for dinner. I had big plans. I was going to put fire in that little fire pit thing over there and perhaps make some damper, but I really can't be bothered anymore. It's just, I'm so tired. So I think it's going to be a very, very early night, and back out on that horrendous stretch of corrugations for 20-30 minutes, but I'll take it slow, and then back to Halls Creek and a bit further north. I don't know where I'll end up tomorrow, but that remains to be seen. Anyway, it's out for now, and maybe I'll be brighter in the morning. Anyway, might do a little pan around of this camping area. This is where I am, and I have my own personal long drop dunny, and if I require it, there's another one over there in the background, but that's probably been commandeered by this family over here in a camper trailer through the bushes, and they could very well have a better camp spot because it looks like they've got more shade. But then I was here first and the sun was low in the sky. Nice. Anyway, bush camp, and look at that nice pretty pink flower on that. Oh, that's nice. Look at them. Ah, dearie, 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 it's so hot. And there is the edge of Wolfe Creek Crater in the background there. That's the rim of the crater. So that's how close the campground is. I have actually taken the awning off. You'll see how the bracket was bent through that way, and this one snapped off completely. I actually purloined one of the bolts from that bracket to fix this tent, because I had to drill a hole through the plastic of the roof in order to get a sighting hole, and I also had to sacrifice one of my brand new ratchet spanners to hold the nut in place while I screwed the bolt in from underneath. I will, however, salvage that spanner when I get home, and because I'm going to dismantle this tent. I'll take it off the car, put it in the garage, dismantle it, and I'll rebuild it better than ever. I'm just doing a little bit of spring cleaning, vacuuming, because I have picked up a few stones from the bottom of my curtain, so we'll just put the vacuum on. That just tidies up a bit. I think that little vacuum up in Kmart somewhere, probably, Broome, and it was $10 or something, and I thought, now there's a handy little doodad, seeing as I didn't bring myself a little dustpan and shovel, and I've used it a number of times to actually vacuum out the rooftop tent, because when you get up there, of course, you bring stones up with your thongs or, you know, your shoes or whatever. And that thing has just been, it's more than paid for itself. That's brilliant. Well, the son has put his hat on and he's going to bed. Nightcap, that is, of course. And so, will this boy here shortly. We'll just have a little wander around yet again. Lovely little campsite here. Beautiful. And I've actually packed everything up and I'm ready to go. I just hope that tent folds down properly in the morning. Well, good morning, folks. I had a fairly restless night worrying about that particular bracket there, and I've just spent another 2 hours, but I've modified it slightly, and I think now we'll get the tent down, and it should be okay till I get home, so then I can rework this whole thing. I got up probably about 6 o'clock, and I've been at it since, and I don't know actually what time it is now. The sun's fairly well up, so I've been at least 2 hours, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm going to go and boil up a kettle, make some coffee. I'll pull the tent down, and then I'll... Okay, on the way from Wolfe Creek Crater. What is it, about 150, I think, by the time we do that 28 k's. Into the main Tanami Road, and then 130, what's that, about 158, yeah, okay. Anyway, we're in no rush now. Oh, and we come to the first gate, and that was quick. Stretch of the lot. This is probably the one where my awning came down, and I didn't realise it until I got to the car park at Wolfe Creek Meteorite Crater. Anyway, well, some people might ask me, well, was it worth the hassle to get into Wolfe Creek Crater and all the issues with the awning and the bed, the tent things? And I'd say yes, because to me it's one of the wonders of the world. It's a naturally occurring phenomenon that had, you know, impacted the Earth, an asteroid or a big rock that hit the Earth. And I think we need to see these things just in the sense to make us realise that we're not as smart as we think, and you know, smug as we all are as human beings, we could be wiped out in an instant by something that is so far out of our control. And I think that's a bit of a lesson, apart from the fact that because it's so isolated, it was lovely sitting out there and just there's no light pollution, and try looking at the stars. The stars are absolutely amazing out here, and if you ever get the chance, get out here and have a look, because you won't see stars in the city. This could be the place where the Wolfe Creek guy brought his victims and locked them up in the shed. Held them captive. Amazing the number of people that must bring spray cans of paint on holidays with them. Somebody did point that out to me once. I'd never really thought about it. Thank you for whoever it was. But it's true. People seem to come out here and they have spray cans. Why? And yet another gate. In my old age. Well, there's a seatbelt sign. Put your seatbelt on. Well, wait a minute until my dad will come back after shutting the gate. Okay, that's that gate shut. Now, how many more were there? Oh, there's one at the very end of this track, this road. Okay. Right. Oh, gee, it's getting warm out there now. So this must be part of this Carinya, is it Carinya station? Anyway. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Maybe this is the really bad stretch. I can't remember now. Thirsty work, water. Yum. Oh, look out, cocky. Like the smoothest stretch here where the red patches are and no dust. That's obviously a hard sandstone base. Ooh, we can zip along here at about 70. Except for this, here's a hump. Ooh, let's go over the hump. Woohoo! trip I've actually used some equipment that in the past trips I haven't really bothered. When I say used equipment, I've taken my jerry cans with me and I have never used them, mainly because they're such a pain in the bum. So this time I thought, well, put them all in the back and get a decent sort of a siphon system, which that pump thing that you saw on a few scenes ago actually worked really well. So I put 40 out of my 60 litres into the tank yesterday, and I have just under 3/4 of a tank left. So all of that stuff works, and it's for future trips. If I'm going to go to more remote places, it's a confidence booster to say, yep, you can carry all this stuff and it works. The system that you invented worked. So I'm quite pleased with that sort of thing, that I can do that. Previous travels, I've carried jerry cans of fuel. They've been up on the roof, and you've got to lift them down, and then you've got to hold the thing up while you try to pour it into a funnel, unless you have one of those self-jigging siphons, but I always find they're not long enough anyway. Anyway, this particular little system that I had yesterday worked, and I'm really happy with that. Look at that, 28 k's didn't take any time at all. It's only 8:10. What time did I leave? About 7:45. Well, there you go. Now we're coming up onto the Tanami track again. We'll turn right and go back towards Wolfe Creek, instead of turning left and going to Alice Springs, which would be a million miles away. Not quite. I exaggerate. Oh, there's that seatbelt girl again. God. Okay, look left, see if there's any traffic coming. You never know, there might be a gigantic road train on its way. Nope, all clear. Okay, let's go. Wolfe Creek, 20 k's it says. That's why it was so quick. It's only 20 k's. I thought it was 28. If they actually paved this road, it's an incredible shortcut to the north of Western Australia for people coming from, say, the eastern states. You can come up through Port Augusta, South Australia, head up through Cooperative, get to Alice Springs, 10 k's outside of Alice Springs, you turn off left onto the Tanami, and this is the end portion of it. And a lot of people actually do it. It's another shortcut. But I don't think that it's in great condition the whole way, and that probably precludes a lot of people from trying it. But it must cut down on a lot of kilometres. I want to try it, but I can't do it until this COVID crap gets out of the way. But anyway, who knows? Maybe one day I'll get to tick this one off the bucket list. At least I've been on part of it, so that's good. It's quite enjoyable to drive on. GPSs are not happy with the bouncing around because their plugs keep coming loose, and then they decide that they won't run on battery anymore. They'll turn themselves off. Anyway, stock crossing. Oh, they're off to the side, every side. trip meter as I was leaving, and it seems like we've been on this forever, but I'm sure we're getting very, very close to the end of our journey on the Tanami Road. We've come through some pretty rough patches that I do recall were in the early stages yesterday, and I've sort of increased the pace slightly now on this red surface because it's quite a lot smoother than what I've been travelling through for the last few kilometres up and over the hills. So I'm assuming that we're not that far out of Halls or the Tanami intersection with the Great Northern Highway, and then it's another 15 or 16 k's into Halls Creek. Anyway, we'll press on. Oh, yeah, right. We're just following another woof. Another car just came past going the opposite direction, and that was his dust. Nearly blinded me, so it can't be that far. Past that, what I thought was a community, but was actually the Kidman, one of their cattle stations, something Plains, I didn't quite catch the name. Anyway, we won't be that long before we're in Halls Creek again, I don't think. I am, however, seeing some smoke down here, like, what's the smoke about? Is it a bit of burning off? We'll find out in a tick as we go past. Yes, there's a big fire going on here. Some flames. Somebody's burning off, I think. Ooh, look at this. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Grass. Grass on fire. Bin for anybody who brings fruit and shit in. And would you look at that? This is the end of the road. Now we're going into Halls Creek. There's the highway 19. Ooh. I better actually take myself out of four-wheel drive as well. Okay, we've done that. I was in that state of zen, and all of a sudden the highway's here. Right, oh, the beast is in car heaven, onto a nice smooth road. Back to normal. Traffic, tourists. I just looked at my watch, and that took just about 2 hours, maybe slightly over 5 or 10 minutes over 2 hours to travel that, what I think is about 170, 130 and then another 20, 150 whatever, into Wolfe Creek Crater. So that's not too bad a going, I don't think. So it's did say I was never going to let this town beat me, and I've been to Wolfe Creek Crater, you bastards. So there. Now, we'll go and see if your petrol pumps, your diesel pumps are still working again, which they should be after all this time. Get some fuel and get the hell out. Once again, I arrive in Wolfe Creek on a Friday. What is it about a Friday and me in Wolfe Creek? There's the shell over there. I'm going to pull in, get some food. Unbelievable. There's another crack in the windscreen. Hey, some clown flying along, kicks up a stone, bang. I was talking to a bloke, funny enough, at Purdululu station, and we were talking about windscreens, and he had a similar thing. He went through a spate of getting stone chips and cracks in a windscreen after he'd replaced them, and it looks like I'm going through the same thing. Brand new windscreen, 2 days out, stone chips. That's what the masking tape is. Now I get this here. Damn. Anyway, looks like the masking, the duct tape will come out again. I just called into Leicester or Lister, and I've disposed of my rubbish, and I've put a little patch of duct tape up on the thing. Now, I've never been in this one before. I'm just going to go and have a little bit of a look around, because soft under feet, under wheels. What's this down here? It's another picky-nicky spot. Keep this one in mind for future reference. What I'm not that far away from the Bungles Caravan Park, and I might go there because I wouldn't mind having a shower and just see what's what. What is it? Friday. It's a Friday, so everything sort of shuts down. And tell me Kununurra is absolutely chock-a-block like Broome is. So really, I'm deciding whether I'm actually going to continue any further north after Purnululu. Anyway, Leicester. That's the, oh, there's a road going down there. That's the 24-hour pull-up stop, so we'll keep that one in mind, but we'll press on. Oh, she's a bit rough and ready here. That's the helipad. Okay, scenic flight parking. I want to go, where do I, Heli Spirit bookings this way. Flight parking away. Visitors report to office. Okay. Bit of glamping going on. Where is the orifice reception? There we go. Look at that. Bungle Caravan. Jesus, this is a good one for spending some of your money. Okay, 10-minute parking over there. Let's go. We shall return.